Hi everyone, Grayson here and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, thanks for stopping by. I have several things on my to-do list today that I would like to get completed and wanted to bring you along for the process. So let's get started. I'm going to be working in this front flower bed here by the main entrance here of my home. Now I did a video on this flower bed last season. It was called the No Dig Method. It's where I went in and I laid cardboard down all over the grass and the weeds, and I created this bed. I cut it all out, and I've purposely left it unplanted for a year just to see how it was going to do. It has done great. Now there are just a couple of weeds that are dotting up here and there. There's not a ton of them, but there are just a little. Now I have this ornamental Black Diamonds Crape Myrtle that I'm gonna be planting. And the stats on this is that it is gonna get 12 feet tall by 8 feet wide. So that's gonna be 4 feet off center wide. I've gone back and forth of what type to put here, and I just want it to be a small ornamental tree, and I love the dark foliage. Now it takes full to part sun. It's going to bloom in early summer through fall. It's going to thrive in full to part sun, and the growing zone is 7 to 10, so it'll be perfect here. The first thing that I need to tackle is I need to re-edge this flower bed, and then I'm going to go through and I'm just going to pull the few weeds that are in it, and then next I will tackle this planting area by the front steps. Now this is my annual planting bed, and I've got some exciting things that I'm going to be putting here. And then next we're going to get this Black Diamonds Crape Myrtle tree planted. It really needs to come out of its can. And then I'm going to go through and trim back these Acuba. As you can see, they are all over the sidewalk, and so I'm kind of having to turn sideways and walk in the grass to get by them. So here are our containers that I planted a couple of weeks ago. They're looking good and growing strong. I just wanted to give you an update on those quick. So as you can see, I have my work cut out for me, so let's go ahead and get started. I have no idea how wide this flower bed is. It's a little deceiving on camera. This flower bed is a little over 10 feet wide from the house. And then the bed is 24 feet long from this point all the way to the sidewalk. So it's a pretty sizable bed, and I'm really excited to start the planting process. So let me get this raked up real quick and we'll start planting our annual bed. Okay, and now that we have the bed all edged around and weeded, it's time to get this annual bed planted up with these beautiful annuals that I have. Now I'm gonna use vinca for the first time ever. Now these get about 12 inches high, and I'm also gonna be using this coleus. Now this is a really thin leaf coleus. It's not a broadleaf, and I have it in two different colors. I have like a maroon and a hot pink, and then I have like a maroon and green, and these will get anywhere from 10 to 16 inches tall. This bed gets half sun and then half shade. It gets full sun in the morning until about noon, and then it goes half shade, but the front of it gets ringed with sunshine. So I'm gonna be planting these accordingly. Now the vinca requires full sun, and then I'll plant the coleus more in the shade. But again, we always want to plant our plants for their requirements. If they require sun, we plant them in the sun. If they require shade, we plant them in the shade. So let's go ahead and get started. next thing on the list is to get the Crape Myrtle, the Black Diamonds Crape Myrtle planted. So let's go ahead and get after it. Now this area is so large, I'm going to be underplanting it with 3 of my Superunia Vista bubblegum that were left over from my previous project. And it's kind of an experiment because I want to see just how much ground these Superunia can cover. These are vigorous growers. They are high performers. They are bred to do that. And with all of this space, I just thought, hey, why not? Let's give it a try. Here is the tree planted with the 3 Superunia Vista bubblegum underneath, and I am thrilled with the way that this tree came out. The ground, the soil was amazing. As you can see, it's dark and crumbly. There's earthworms. The cardboard is pretty much disintegrated. It has made this bed so easy to plant in. I would highly recommend the cardboard no dig method. I love the dark foliage of the leaves. I think that it's going to play well with the Japanese maple over in front of it over there. So that dark plum color is going to pair well with the gray house. I'm super excited about this tree. I'm glad to finally get it out of the can. But most importantly, I'm more excited about finally starting the planting procedure here in this large bed. And lastly on our list is to get these Acuba shrubs cut back. As you can see, they are completely encroaching on the sidewalk. I have a random weed or oak tree growing out of them that I need to take care of. These are beautiful shrubs. They do well in shade with just a little bit of sun here. But I'm thinking about removing these all together, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and just give these a really good prune job, get them off the sidewalk, cut them back, get them back into the bed, and then we're gonna see what we think of them. So let's go ahead and get started. And that's going to conclude today's project. You know, it feels really good to get all these things checked off my to-do list. I was amazed at how well this bed planted up. You know, I purposely didn't plant anything in this bed for a year to give the cardboard a chance to break down and become soft, and it thanked me for it. I'm super excited about this annual bed with the coleus and the vinca. I can't wait to see it in a couple of weeks after it fills in. And the Black Diamonds Crape Myrtle with the underplanting of just 3 Superunia Vista bubblegum. I'm anxious to see how well they perform, and also to get these Acuba trimmed back off the sidewalk. It's a project that I've wanted to get done for the last month or so and just have now found the time. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope that you were inspired in some way to get out in your garden and create something nice. And if so, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it helps me to continue to bring more content like this to you all. And as always, thank you for watching Gardening with Grayson. See you in the next one.